Hello, everyone. Just saying hi. Again, if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section and I'll try to answer them as we go. So, this is you logging in for the first time. So we have a brand new mini session functionality or limited schedule availability functionality that's part of the scheduler. So that's one thing that we're going to really focus on today and how you can develop that. Set it up, get it ready so you can start promoting mini sessions through there. So, right now probably people are doing any spring sessions right now, but we're going to focus on what's the next event. Rolling into April through May through summertime, there's a lot of the types of sessions you can do. You can do backyard sessions, you can do Mother's Day. So that's the one that I'm going to really focus on today is how you can plan your Mother's Day session. So if you're doing something in studio or if you're doing something outdoor, we'll kind of go with what those looks like and how you can set them up to have multiple options for your customer types. So let's go in and see what we got going on. So you log in for the first time. Now, we're not going to work on the website yet. We're going to go ahead and start setting up how we want to schedule these events. So we'll click on Scheduler, and you'll see you have your services and everything here. We have our older one here, but I'm going to go ahead and create a new category. I'm just going to create a new category. I'm just going to call it Mini Sessions. And we're just going to put all our mini session types in here. So mini sessions are here. We're going to click New. And now you'll see you have reoccurring ones. These are ones that you constantly do, like if you're doing consultations or if you want people to book you throughout the week or something like that, you can have this here. But if you're doing something with a custom date, maybe you only work 3 months out of the year. Maybe you only focus on weddings. You can really set it up that way if you want to as well. But we're going to focus on mini sessions, how you can utilize them. So if there's custom days you want to work or have these types of event types that people can book you for, you can set it up this way. So we're going to click on Custom Dates. And from here, you'll be able to create that service. So we're just going to call this one Outdoor Mini Sessions. And we'll just make it Mother's Day. We'll make it about Mother's Day. How long that duration is going to be, you can put a description here to describe the service. If you want it to be 15 minutes, 30, or however long. If you're trying to get as maximum amount of people there as possible, of course, most people try to stick to 15 to 30 minutes. So we're just going to keep it at a standard 30. For mini sessions. How many people do you think you can actually get in a day? It really depends on you. How many people are you trying to maximize in that weekend? So if you're doing it over 2 days or 3 days, are you trying to do 10 sessions a day? Or are you trying to do 15 or even more beyond that? You got to figure out how you want to plan that. So when you're putting it in, figure out what your total cost is going to be. We're going to make these sessions $300 outdoors. Whatever you're going to charge for, you can set it up for booking only, or you can take a payment already with it. So if you're going to set it up, you can take that payment. I'm just going to turn that payment option off for now so you can see the functionality of it. But once they are able to do that, they'll be able to book, but also put their payment directly in there as well when they're booking. So that's a really nice functionality. That way you can get paid beforehand before the actual event happens. So you get in there, and next part is actually putting the dates. So when are we wanting to do this Mother's Day session? So I'm going to go ahead and make it for April, and then you can see here on the calendar, choose the dates you want to do. I'm going to do our Saturday, and what time, when are we going to start doing these sessions? I'll probably start doing them at around noon, and maybe we run them till 5:30, about golden hour. Maybe we'll go a little bit longer. Maybe 6 o'clock seems good, right? So we're going to add that as a date, and then we're going to add another one. Going to go through here. And then you can pick your next session. We're going to go back. We're going to go to second. And maybe that day is going to be a little bit shorter. So maybe we're only going to do, let's choose 2 p.m. to 5. How about that? You're going to get as many as you can in that time frame. And there you go. You got your sessions ready. And if you want to, you can add more. Keep going how many days you want to do this. And if you're doing it periodically throughout the year, multiple days, maybe you're going to do this also on another weekend. It's really up to you. Especially when you're going into like holidays, you can think about it that way because you might want to do all your holiday sessions through October every weekend to let it fill up that time for a specific type of event that you're doing. But since we're focusing on the latter half of spring and early summer, we're getting our Mother's Day ready. So we're going to shoot for this weekend, April 1st, 2nd. We're going to have it from these time frames. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to create it. That session is now created. We're going to also put an image in to represent that business or that type of image type that we're going to create for them. So I'm just going to select this one that we have already uploaded in our clipboard. But anything that you want to represent that type of event, you can put in here. You can also add on options if you want to, like hair, wardrobe, anything like that as you think as a premium upgrade for your customers if you want to allow for that. You can add those here. But we're just going to get the basics. We just want people to come in fully dressed, with the availability and anything like that. And then you can create your thank you. And when you're putting this thank you together, you can add multiple things to it. So something you could do, and maybe we'll come back to this at the end, is, you know, when they get this message, they can get a confirmation email that's going to give them maybe a link to something. So maybe you have like a do's and don'ts for the event type, a link they can click on. You can create a hidden page on your website that links directly, hey, here's some types of clothes you should think about wearing for the event, the type of makeup you should wear, or, you know, things to be prepared for. So this could link to blogs that you might create as well. So it's a really great way to create this thank you message to be more utility versus just saying, hey, thanks. So kind of breaks down to more options that you have right there. You can also create an email automation system. So based on that, we'll come back to this at the latter half as well. But once someone signs into that, what's the next thing you want to happen? You're just going to follow up with telling them, hey, this event's coming up closer. This event's, here's what you need to plan for. You can have all these things that'll be set to remind them. That'll also be on their calendar, but this will just kind of probe them how many times you want this email to go out pre the event and post the event. Like just giving them a follow-up, hey, here's what's going to happen next after the photo shoot. You're going to get your photos. I'll reach out to you when they're ready for you to come into my studio, or I'll send them digitally. So whatever you do for that preparation, you can set it up that way. And this is, you know, how it works. So you got it already set up. You know, we're going to go from there. So we have our first event. We're going to go ahead and create another event as well. So you can see that you can add multiple events to the calendar on your website anytime you want to. So we're going to do another one. We're going to set this one for studio. You know, mini day sessions, Mother's Day mini sessions. There we go. I'm going to put in our dummy text, and maybe for those, since it's in a more controlled environment, we're going to give them 15 minutes. So we're going to do it that way, and since it's a little bit more prestige, we're going to make it cost a little bit more. So we're just going to make it $400. And we're just gonna, again, you can take that payment on the front end, but we're just gonna set it up on the just booking for now, so we can show the process. And then we're gonna actually start doing that next weekend. How about that? We're just gonna get it right out the door. We're gonna start doing that. We're gonna start those early because we have a more controlled environment, so you can get as more people as you want that time. And we're gonna go ahead and add another date on top of that. We're gonna do that as well, and we're gonna set that one a little bit later since it's Sunday. You know, people gotta go to events and stuff like that, so maybe we're doing that from noon till a little bit later in the day, maybe till 7. We can set it up that way. So now we're going to create the event. We're going to add an image that represents this type of portraiture. So I'm going to go through my clipboard or upload an image directly onto it. I'm actually going to select one. This has actually got my kids in it, so you can see how it looks like. They did a Mother's Day portrait a couple years ago, so this is what they did. So I'm going to use this as to represent what the looks like. So have that. Again, you can change any of the availability, instructions that you want them to know, thank you message, and the email automation that goes along with this email that's going to keep poking them until the actual service is rendered. So we can have that all set up. Once it's ready, now you can add this to a website. So let's go ahead, back over to the website builder. We're going to go ahead and create a new page because this is going to be about our mini sessions that we want to draw people to. So we're going to give them 2 chances, right? So we're going to give them 2 that they can choose from. So we're going to create a new page. And you can make them all standalone if you want to, like this one's for outdoor sessions or mini sessions. We're just going to call this page Mother's Day Sessions. So we have that page, and then you can have a banner that represents it. So I'm just going to float a picture up there at the top. Maybe have some text that would be accompanied with it to explain what the session is like. So I'm just going to throw that in there real quick. And then we can add a title if we need to. No. Mother, you know, something about like choosing which type they want. Maybe that's some of the information. Then this is where we can add those scheduled events. So there's multiple ways you can do it. You could have it as a single one broken down that way, or you could add a few other options in there. Yes, you would want to, if you have a lunch break, some people do lunch breaks, some people don't. If you want to, you can actually add that in there. So if you go in there, you can go, let me set this up real quick. You go back over here, you can adjust the availability in that time slot. So if you need to, you can break down the availability in there. So if you need to put in a lunch break in there, you could click it, select the time. Wrong month. you go back to, oh, here we go, the first, and then you can select the time slot in between that you're going to take an hour off. So if you're going to go ahead and program your time off as well, you could do that as well. That way it doesn't render it availability. So if you want to, you can do that as well. Thank you, Brent. So next, you can go ahead and select which category you want to display. I'm going to display our mini sessions. You can select it where it's going to display both of them if you want to. You can have it where it's set up that way. Or you can do it individual. So if you're going to have one individual one here listed, you can set it up that way, you know, where one is just going to be listed here where people can go ahead and render from that way and select which one they want. Or you can have it where both of them are selected. So it's really up to you. If you're doing a landing page with multiple options or a single option, you can have it both ways. I'm going to do the multiple options first, and then I'll do a single option so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead. See, right now you can see it's set up for single item. So then I'm just going to choose something like contemporary square. Just going to select this, going to select a row of 1 and 2 columns, going to select those two, and now you'll go back over here, display all the ones or which ones you want available. I'm going to display our mini sessions, and now those two will display. And then I'm going to put an image above it. I want something that kind of encompasses the look and feel that I'm going for, so maybe something like that, something a little romanticized. You select that. And then you can choose the options of how you want it laid out. I'm going to go a little bit more narrow on this side, not a full page splash, but I do want it to be, you know, attractive to our customers that we're trying to get them in there. And then you'll add like your title. And then you can put something like book today. Wow. Choose between two session types. So you could have something like that. Or maybe we put this on the next line. Cut this, put it on the other line. So we have that. We have some words. Make sure it's stylized the way we want it to. I'm going to make the color darker. I'm going to make the title white and the text white. It's just how my preference is when it comes to designing things. I think it adds a little bit more contrast to the page when you do that, so it looks a little nicer. So you could have something like that. Now I'm going to stylize these sections. So I'm going to add some spacing in between all this. Give it some air to breathe, right? So we're going to go in here. I'm going to take this section as well. I'm going to copy this piece. Oh, actually, let me paste this in. So choose between two session types. Then go right here. We're going to copy all this. And then I'm also going to add some spacing in between this as well. So as we're building, you can see it's starting to just add a little bit more, you know, intrigue to it. You can do this full design if you wanted to go flush, or you can make it where, you know, no flushing is on. I'm going to add no flushing. I'm going to add some spacing between the items because I want people to really study the options between the two. And so we have that set up, and then I'm going to modify the colors. I'm just going to change the title color to a dark tone. Maybe use this orange one. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. So now we got it going on in here. I'm going to add a little spacing below it. Easy enough with the dividers. And what you could do from here, there's some options. You could definitely go through here and start adding things like, you know, what the experience is like, so people get kind of intrigued with it, you know, what type of products they have along with it. So if you're going to be giving them like, hey, you get a single image, this is where you can showcase what they get, you know, so the investment opportunity for the page. So if there's an investment page that you want to create, you can definitely add that element to here that goes along with it so they know what they're getting out of it. So if you want to put that as a list items, you can kind of list it out like 1, 2, 3, here's how the event will go. So they get intrigued with it. So let me see if I have something similar to that already over here. So yeah, you could definitely start listing it out like how the day will go. So I'm going to copy this block. This one's more for weddings, but I'm gonna redesign it real quick. Gonna bring it over, drag and drop directly into the other page. That's the nice thing about it. If you didn't know you could drag and drop, you can drag and drop blocks to each page. So you can sit it here, and then we can add something like the title, or you can delete it and copy one that's already got the styling that you like, copy, and bring it down directly where you want to go. So we got it in there, you know, we can talk about how the, what's the process like. You can put something like that. So once it's there, you start seeing it come together. We're putting this page together so people can understand what it's like booking for this type of session type. And then you keep going till you have the results that you like. And if you want to, you can put a form directly on here if you want people to ask questions, or if you want to keep this as a singular option so people are just booking you directly. Now you're ready. So now we got this page set up. It's talking about the process. You put in the images that represent, obviously you what it's going to be like. And when you come to here, you can choose between the two. So if they choose Outdoor Mini, they'll be able to read the information about it. They can book. And what's nice is, here you go. Here's the calendar sessions. We have the two types available and your times that you've built out. So if you're going to add that time there, you can definitely select that one that's available. Once they put that information in there, they'll be able to book you. That booking process is done. They can add it directly to their calendar. So they'll be able to click here. It'll trigger. It'll go to their calendar, their personal calendars. And if you set it up on the back end of the scheduler, you can get a sync directly to your calendar as well. It's the calendar feed option. When you copy this code right here, if you follow the instruction to your calendar type, this will load directly on to your feed. So if you're using Google, here's what that process is like. You copy this. You go over here. You click on this where you can add other calendars. Click on From URL, paste in that URL, and the Google will sync up with your calendar. So if anyone books in that session, it will load directly onto your calendar, and you'll be able to see the name, information that you've pulled directly from that scheduling. So you'll be able to see their name, email, phone number, and any other confirmation details that you've added in there. So that's going to feed directly on there. So this is going to make mini sessions booking so much more easier, so you can see directly all those details, and it'll come right on in. So make sure you have that connected when you go in there. So we're looking at, once they've booked, now they're booking with us. What's next? So if you created that email automation, here's what an email automation can look like. So we'll go through the process of that. You're setting up your email automation. You'll want to click on the scheduler ones to create those. So you can create new series. So maybe you want to create a new series. We're going to call this one with reminders. So we want people to just do, reminding them. You can set up one to tell them, hey, give me a testimonial, or, review me at, Google or Facebook if you want to. Or you can build your own custom one. I'm going to go ahead and use the appointment reminder one so we can see what that looks like. So 2 weeks before the event, or whatever the trigger date is, you can set that up. You can modify this. They'll get this reminder saying your upcoming appointment, and then it'll pull directly the information where it says service name right here. This is going to pull from the generated system of the event. So what the event day is, time is for them, and everything. So this is all system generated, so you don't have to worry about it. The only segment you can modify is this, and this is going to be a pretty broad statement. So this will go out to all the customers that have purchased it, not to every individual, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't say something like, hey Jane, or hey Mark, just let this be more broad. So keeping it broad like this, where it says, this is a friendly reminder of your upcoming appointment. You can come through here. You can customize a little bit of that information. You can change the trigger date if you want it to be 1 week out or a couple of days out. You can choose those options. And then if it's active, go ahead, hit Save Changes, and then go through here. You can change the information. Like I said, you can reminder of your upcoming mini session appointment or something like that. Friendly reminder of your Mother's Day appointment or something like that. So you can add it, personalize a little bit more. If you need to reschedule, please contact me, blah, blah, blah. So you can add all this type of information you want to. This pre-header text, this is what they'll see in the email itself. So like before they actually open it, this is kind of like that bleeding information that kind of lures you in to want to read about it. So when you click on it, you can see right away we've added some information. This is a friendly reminder about your Mother's Day's mini session photo shoot. So you can customize that how you want to. You can then go through here and make sure that it's set up the way you want to for all the other ones. And this will keep reminding them, so you don't have to do anything. You just got to set it up to trigger out, and that's all you have to do. And now that trigger is created, so you have that appointment one set, ready to go. If you need to, you can come in here, reminder series for Mother's Day. So we know that one is the appointment reminder series for that. We're just going to change it for Mother's Day mini series. Put this there. So now we know which one it is when we're seeing which one's being sent out. Now your customers will be getting these emails, again, based on the times when you've got them set to trigger, and they'll do follow-ups if necessary if you have anything about reviews or anything like that you want to have accompanied with it. So that's how that'll go. So that'll continue once you have that trigger set up. Now we got this on our website. Let's take a look again. Let me close these little feeds real quick. So you can see it's right here. We have the outdoor mini session. It went well. So if we're going to do that again, if they're going to schedule, you can see those time slots are going to change. That time is no longer available for certain ones. So if we did anything like that, they're going to start taking away the time slots that we selected. So, and you'll be able to see if someone has booked with you directly in here as well. You could either click on the notification symbol. You'll see that as an appointment has been made. It's up to 30 minutes. That's at 12:30. So our 12:30 option is no longer there. So if someone else books there, you can have that there. Again, if you are setting it up for like a lunchtime, you can also see that there will be a void there as well. So people won't be able to book you while you are, on that, break. So you'll have that there. And if you ever need to, you can reschedule it, anything like that, if you need to make any changes. And if you go to the scheduling section, you'll also see all the appointments. So you can search, this month or the next. This is for next month. So you can already see that it's going to start populating that information in there, and it'll give you all the details right then and there as well. So you'll start collecting all that information directly in there, and it's stored in the CRM section as well. So when you go to your contacts, you'll start seeing all that data here and how all that is fed into here. So anything that they've done, any type of appointments, that'll also be listed here as well. So you'll be able to break that all down directly in here. You'll see what types of email automations that customer has received as well. So if they say they never got any appointment reminders from you, you can go back and check and see when those emails were triggered out to them, when they're sent. So if they sign up today, they'll get one the next day. So that's how that works. So it'll be a next day reminder saying, hey, thanks for signing up, et cetera, et cetera. So it kind of triggers out the next day from the point of when they signed up. They'll get the immediate thank you one, but the follow-up ones will start triggering afterwards. So if we have this session set up for the multiple types, let's create it if we're just making it a singular event. So let me go through here. I'm going to copy. We're going to create this page again. We're going to copy it, all the details. We're going to make it a single page. And maybe we make this one about the in-studio version. So we have a different look. Go in there. I'm going to create it again. I'm going to change this photo out. We're going to make this photo. We're going to choose something else. I'm going to choose this one, them all together like this. And they're there now. So we'll get that in there. And then you can go through here, be able to change any other text that you want to. We're making it about just the in-studio. So we're going to change the layout. We're going to click on layouts. I'm going to go down here and make it a single item. I'm going to choose single item squared. There we go. And it's going to disappear on this side, but don't worry. You're going to go back over here, choose the one that you want again. So I'm going to have that Studio Mother's Day right in there. So that session is now available. So now when we go over here, I'm just going to refresh. Here's our single page. We're going to have it there so it's just easy to access. So you can see the availabilities right here. So we have our nice little banner. We have this directly here. If you want to make this page a little bit more robust with questions or anything like that, the process, results, you can definitely set it up here so they can kind of see what the visual aspect's going to be. Again, you can include options like, here's what your pictures will look like. You get a free 8x10, and you'll be able to come into the studio to choose more if you want to. So however you want to create the narrative for your service that you're creating, for the total price and everything like that, you can have it available. And you see, since this is in studio, we have way more options available. And we're starting at 8 a.m., running it all the way to 5:15. So again, if you're going to add those lunch breaks in there, you can go ahead and add those lunch breaks in there. We'll go ahead and do that. So let's go over here to our scheduler. We'll go over to our event, our services. We're going to choose that mini session. We're going to our Studio Mother's Day one. We're going to change our availability. We're going to add some little times here. We're going to go ahead back to that 3:25. We're going to go in there. We're going to make 3:25. There we go. And we're going to run this instead of 5:30 p.m. Maybe we're going to take our lunch at 12, So we're going to do that. So we're going to make it available from 12, or we're going to start again at 1 to 5:30. So then you make those changes. So now that time in between there, that 1 hour will not be available when they book. So you can see right here, there it is right now. So we have the 1 o'clock time. So when we refresh, they'll select. That time is no longer available. So you can see that 12 o'clock is gone. So that's all you got to do when you're creating that calendar out. So if you want to, you can go ahead and figure out where those gaps are, for that time. So if you're going to be running it till noon, then you've taken your hour, and then you come back. So that way they know, oh no, there's already no time available. So yeah, that way they're not selecting a time that you chose. So you want to make sure you do that for all the days that you're doing it for, but we're just doing it for the single day for now. And when they're ready, again, they'll be able to choose what time they want. They'll go through here, and they'll be able to book now. And again, they'll be able to add that to their calendar. They'll get this update. You'll get that update. You'll go back over to services. I'll go back to appointments. You can see the current month. When you hit that, you can see the person has booked and the time that they selected. So they got a 15-minute time gap on this one and set it up that way. So now you got everything playing the way you want to. So you can have it again. You can create these gorgeous single-page layout versions. Send this directly, set this up. Put it on a page that you want it to be on. Maybe you want to modify a few of the designs. Of course you can design it. You can create all the fun designs that you want to. Maybe you want this, add a little break here. Just a little fun code, just so we can get the word mini session on one line. You can do something like that. Easy enough. And then it looks gorgeous. And it's going to look good on mobile. And the great thing about it is when it looks good on mobile, that's what everyone wants it to do, right? So I'm going to change it. I'm just going to look at our developer tools real quick so you can get what it looks like on mobile. I'm going to change it to a phone. Refresh. So yeah, you come here. You can see what it looks like. They select. And it's just going to come up like this. So then they can select what time they want. And then they'll start putting in the information directly that way. So then they book, and there they go. So it's already added to their calendar. So it's really nice because you're able to see that mobile functionality when you're ready as well. So don't worry about it. It's going to look gorgeous on your phone. Because how are people mostly looking at stuff on like Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or anything like that? Is directly through phone typically. So the scheduling is easy, it's fast, and you're going to get paid quicker. So what are they going to get? They're going to get those emails that remind them about it, about putting it on their calendar if they want to. You're going to get those calendar reminders as well. What happens next? So you've done the session. You've got everything booked up. You can see those times are just drifting away now, so they're not there. That's great. We got all these sessions booked up. Hopefully it's a very profitable weekend for you. If you're doing this many sessions in one day, kudos to you, right? You're going to have you can have a weekend of $2,000 up to $15,000, depending on how much you can really get in there, right? Depending on how much you can book up and how much you're willing to spend and book up as well. So some really great stuff like that. We're going to have a guide come out in a couple weeks that talks about how you can utilize mini sessions to really be a benefit to you. All right, so now we got those people booked up. Next is proofing. So next you're creating those client galleries. You can make this available directly on the site if you want to. If you want to make it romantic, it's a great way to romanticize the event, right? So they can see it. They can either get it private, sent directly to them, or you can make it where it's on their website. If you put it on your website, what's nice about it is it's kind of like a subliminal way to market to them and to other customers. They're seeing that you're busy. So you can create a page that has all these event types on there. But we'll go back to that idea later. First, let's look at the private options. So when we're setting up one, let's just go ahead and create a new mini session. We have our one for Sally Rose here and what it looks like. Let's open it up. They'll get this private link they can watch, they can look at. Let's customize a little bit more for them though. We're going to go click on here. We're going to make sure it has everything we want to. If it's using our price list, anything like that, I'm just going to make it use the senior one for now. But you can edit and create your own price list from there. You can password protect this. You can do a cover page email collection. What that means is when they log in for the first time, they're going to have to utilize their email collection. This is going to follow them in the CRM. So it's going to track everything they do. Every like they like, every comment, every share, every option that they're adding to the cart. And that's the way you can email automate it later. So for cart reminders like, hey, you haven't finished yet, or this event's closing soon. You also have the option for allowing free downloads and what resolution types if you want to, and all these other options such as allowing favorites, sharing, comments, watermark, and displaying the file. So you can have that directly on there if you want. And we can take a look and see what this event looks like. Let me go ahead and add some design to it. We're going to utilize this. We're going to utilize our cover events and stuff like that. So we're going to go over here. Let's check out our cover page. It's using this one that we use as a global setting, but I'm going to customize it. I want this be a little bit more designery for them. So I'm going to choose our overlay left. And what that's going to do is it's just going to give it a different layout. So when it comes here now, it's going to be more like this. And then you can modify it. How do we want this to be? Do we want this to be the first image, or do you want it to be another image? I'm going to go with more of this shot, so I'm just going to rearrange the images. And when I do that automatically, it's going to be right here. So that's really nice about it. So you can see the changes right away. So you can make those modifications how you want. Or maybe you don't want that type of layout. You can choose a different one. One of my favorites is the vertical splits. So I'm just going to choose a different vertical split. I'm going to go vertical split left. Click that. Go over here now. Now we can see it this way. And then I would use more of a vertical shot for this. So I'm going to go back to our gallery. And I'm going to utilize, which one looked nice to me? Let's look at this one right here. So I'm going to make that one first again. Again, you can choose the first image, or you can make it select a different one. So now you have something like this. Then you can modify the focal point. If you want it to be a little bit lower, you can have it do that. And so it's going to just make it show up a little bit better. So you've made it a little bit more romanticized for them. It looks beautiful. They log in. They're going to see the options. When they get in here, here's their gallery. It's beautiful. You gave them the images that they want. Now, again, you can make this where they can download it however they want to. They can go in there. Once they start following, you can start seeing that they add their favorites. Again, if you're going to get that email on the front end or the back end, you can select it that way. I'm just going to do the back end option for now. So it's selecting those there. And then what that's going to do is it's going to start favoriting them. Those favorites get their own subcategory in there so they can see all their favorites at once, the ones that they want to keep. So maybe they only want those images. Those you get. Maybe you're given the option to select 5 that are get printed, so you can have that there. Then you can do other things. So maybe you want this to actually be able to purchase more directly through. If you're going to do that option, go back to the event itself. And then you can see here on the gear, you can choose a price list. I'm going to go again with that senior one. And we're going to go ahead and do that. So now, when we refresh, now we open it. Now they're going to have the options to add it to cart. So when they add it to the cart, they're going to have the options that you set up in the e-commerce. So if you set up all the events in your e-commerce before, come over here if you haven't yet. So you want to go over here, you can sell everything online. So prints, digital images, packages, products, services, you name it. Go through here, set them up at your price points. Just click a new size, add it in there. Easy enough. If you need to create digital images, how much each digital image is worth, at what size resolution, you can select that here and then add it. Then you can go through your packages. You can choose different package types. So maybe you're trying to do something for, different packages for mini sessions. You could add a mini sessions package that's different from this pricing if you want to. And then you have different options. You can choose a fixed option. Fixed is more traditional. So, getting 1 8x10 and 5 4x6s. That's a package. It's fixed. Fixed sizes, pricing, you name it. Everything equals that way. If you're using flexible options, this is where I like to say the price is fixed, but their options to choose what size they want is flexible. So whatever you're allowing them to choose. They could choose 3 images at any size, up to 8x10. So if you're giving them options for 4x6s, wallets, you name it, you're giving them options to select what types of size they want based on that. Then digital fix. Fix is if you're going digital fix is where you're going a more traditional route, so you're allowing them to select, 3 images that they get to select as digital options that they can download. So you only give them, and they get to pay it that way. Or you can give the entire event. So if you're selling the event to them, you can sell it as a digital full event that they can purchase right away. So you can select that, add any options that you want to directly in here, but we already got ours set up. We're good. So don't have to worry about that. Next is if you're adding any products. So if you have photo collages, photo albums, anything like that that you're selling to your customer, you can have that here as well. And then you want to set up a price list. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we have our price list set up. I'm going to just call it mini sessions. That way we know we have a different product set that we're choosing from. So maybe for this, we're not giving them the option for products, so we're just going to go ahead and remove photo albums. We're going to uncheck all those, or you can say none, or maybe no gifts. And for products, yeah, they're fine. For packages, we're going to leave the packages on. We wanted to have that. Maybe we'll go through here and choose which ones custom. You can select those. Maybe we're not giving them the flexible option. Maybe we're not going to give them, full gallery download options. So you can set it all up in here how you want to. And then if you're giving them digital prints, you can let them download digital images if you want to, or you can give it to them for free, however you are setting it up. But for now, I'm just going to turn off, none. There we go. So if you're setting it up to get purchased through here, you can. Or if you sold this as a product itself directly to them through that mini session, that $250, that $400 that you got, it's already been paid for. Great. Now you can just set it up to send them directly the digital gallery. So if you're allowing them to have digital downloads, you can set it up that way as well. Maybe they give them those digital downloads, and then you can choose which size. So if you're doing web resolution that they can upload to their own Facebook and stuff like that, there you go. High resolution, if you're allowing them to do some of their own printing, this will work as well as if they want to. Up to about 8 by 10, 11 by 16 image will work just fine. But if you want to give away your biggest images possible, you can enable that original file resolution. This will let you upload the biggest file you have possible and let them download it right away. You can have that option. You can upgrade to it if you want to. If you're giving it away for free and you don't care about it, you've already got the session. That was all that mattered to you. But if you're trying to get those upgrades, those in-person sales, you might want to keep that one off. Unless you're selling the entire gallery, then you can choose a price for that gallery. So I'm just going to keep it at high resolution for now. I'm going to save it. There we go. We got our event ready. And again, you would probably create your email automations. Through those email automations, you would go through here, go back to the email automations. You would click on proofing. You can see what type of series. I would probably enable the cart reminders to remind them if they're paying for anything. This will trigger out to them. So you can see how it's triggering 3 days after the event is created, 3 weeks before the event expires, 1 day after the cart was saved. So what's this look like? They'll be able to say, it looks like you left something behind. Again, keep this broad, but you can then customize the text within here. That's like saying, hey, looks like you might have forgot to add those mini sessions. Go ahead and make those purchases before time runs out or something like that. So you can create these, and then it'll let them know the event is expired once that is closed, so they won't have that option to go back in. So you have these options. They're already going. We got it going. They've made those purchases, or they've made those downloads. Now you're allowing them to get those downloads. We're going over here. Going to go back to this event. Now that they got their likes, now they can set it up multiple ways. So we're going to go back in here. I'm going to refresh this again. They're in here. They got their favorites. And see, now we've enabled the free download option, so they could download their favorites or the whole gallery, depending on what you want to allow that. Once they have that, they can select it. They can start downloading those images directly right then and there, or the whole gallery. So maybe I'm going to just do the whole gallery. Start downloading it, and you'll see it'll package it up for them. And what they'll get, once this is all packaged up, they'll be able to see it from here. But you'll get an email. They'll get an email just like this. Their file is ready to download. So once it's downloaded, they'll click here. It'll send them to this private gateway. But then they can just click here, and it'll both download it for them. So when they click on it, it'll just flip over, and it'll start downloading directly to their computer. Simple enough. So now they got all the files they want. You didn't have to do much effort. Now, if you're doing them, letting them select their favorites, and then you're going to edit them, if you're doing that workflow, what's great about it is, hey, you selected your 5 favorites that you wanted as printed and edit it. You can then go from there, click on activity, choose the event that you were working in. You can see they've downloaded 18 files, but they got 5 favorites. Click on this, be able to see that. You'll be able to see the events that were favorite from that user. You'll also then be able to export it. So if you're using something like Lightroom, classic Lightroom, you'll be able to then copy the favorites list here. So you can copy the files. You can do that directly here. And then you're able to go back over to there. And I'm going to pull it up over here so you can see what that's like. I'm going to go to our proofing page. We have a whole video about it. So I'm going to play that real quick. You can take it there, and then you can take it over to Lightroom. And this is how it works. To export a list of your client's favorite images from PhotoBiz Proofing to Lightroom, in the Proofing tool, click on Activity in the top menu. Then select which client's activity you'd like to view. Here, you can see their favorite images. Click the Export tab. Now you can export a CSV file or copy the file name. Click to copy the list. Then, in Lightroom, select which drive or folder you'd like to search. In the menu options, select File Name, then filter by Contains. And in the search bar, paste in the list. Now the images are filtered, so you can start editing. And there you go. Simple enough. Easy enough to get back over there. So you're good. You're all set. You can edit those files, and then you can then bring them back over to the edited so they can see that, or then you can send it off to your printer, however you're going to do it. And then if you're doing anything like that, you're set. So now that we got that out of the way, that's how you do a individual by setting up the scheduler. Now we got to market this thing. So you're sending out that landing page to people. You're sending it out to them so they can then book those sessions directly on on those pages. Again, it's easy. You just copy the page, paste it where you want to, or if you're using email marketing, you can use marketing a couple different ways. So you can set it up for email marketing campaigns. Right here, you can create it as an email campaign. We'll click on New. You can start with a blank one or a promotional type. So maybe we're going to select here, which one would you like? Maybe this mini session one is a great starting point, or family mini sessions. You can choose those options. It's got that spring color in there. So let's go ahead and select that one. It's going to auto-populate your logo if you've had that selected. It's in there. You can then change this image to whatever you want to. You can upload one, or you choose one from our clipboard. I'm just going to choose a horizontal one. This one right here, I think it's going to look gorgeous right in there. And you can see it's going to go ahead, start populating that imagery directly in there, and go from there. Hey Chelsea, yes, you'll be able to rewatch this as soon as the event's done. It is in our facebook.com/photobiz/live. So you'll be able to see that video right then and there. It'll be the latest one once it populates. You can see it's directly in there. So there we go. Now we got our mini session. We're going to go ahead and start marketing it. You can go ahead and take off 20% off of your pre-booking, anything like that. Whatever you want your custom message to be, this is where you can add that information in there. If you don't want to have anything like that, you can put that in there. So we invite you to start, booking your Mother's Day. How about that? So you have your Mother's Day mini sessions. Click the button to book your session below. We have that there. And if this is for the outdoor one, obviously, you can choose that page. We're going to go back over to that one. We're going to go over, we're going to choose that Mother's Day session. You can either make them go directly to this page or directly to that individual landing page. It's really up to you and how you want to populate it. I'm going to make them go to this page directly. So it's going to auto-populate it there. We got that one. We're going to directly link it in. There we go. It's linked in. So now when they click on here, they'll be able to go ahead and start booking. When they click on it, it's going to drive them directly to the page, and then they'll be able to schedule right here and there. So maybe you're like, oh, I don't like these colors. I want to feel more branded to the page when they get there because, I use more of these gold colors. Well, guess what? You can modify the colors here as well. You click on the paintbrush. You can go up here. You can change the background color. Maybe you want to have more of that gold skew color. You can have it more of that cream right there. So when it's going in there, you can modify it, take away, or hit refresh. And there we go. We're already modifying, making those little changes. You can see it's just going to style so beautifully at the end of the day. So that's what you want. And then you can just keep changing things. Maybe use more of that orange tone. You can go back through here, find it, somewhere in there. Maybe right in a little bit. Right there. Maybe we choose that one. That way it feels organic. It's going to feel better to the page itself. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to actually change that to the accent. I'm going to change the text color. I'm going to make it kind of this gray black tone. There we go. Beth, I'll run through that again for you just so you know. And you keep making those changes till you get the desired look that you're going for. Again, then they'll be able to pop right in here. So Beth asked, did I miss a part that would show how they pay upfront or pay a deposit of their session? So again, I had it set up so it would just kind of see how the booking process is. I'll now, run through the process of when they want to take a payment. I just need to create that option. So go through here. We're going to go now. We're going to make it take prepayments. We're going to go through here. Now that we've seen the process, now we can kind of play around with it. We're going to go through the service. We're going to go back over to our mini sessions. And for our studio, let's make it where they have to pay something up front. So we set up that one. We're going to activate it now. Instead of just for booking only, we're going to have it now book with payment. So set yes. Again, make sure your times are available. For this one, we're going to have a lunch time in between all that. You can see there. So you can have that gapping in there for that 15th, the 25th, I mean. So there we go. We got it in there, but we want to make sure that we have our e-commerce set up. You want to go back over to payments, click on merchants, make sure you have a merchant selected. Choose which merchant that you like, Square, Stripe, iTransact, PayFlow, PayJunction, Authorize, PayPal. I'm just going to choose PayPal for now, and we're just going to call the payment name PayPal. And of course, choose which one you like. You know, if you have Square, integrate it with Square, anything like that. And then adding your merchant is that easy. There we go. So now when we go back over to those session types, they click in here, they can go directly to this one, but we're going to send it over to this page now instead. So let's go ahead and set that up in the marketing channel. We're going to go ahead and modify the one that we've currently created. I like the layout, I like the choices, but now we're making it for indoor studio. So we're going to copy this one. We're going to call it studio. Create that session. There's our family studio. We're going to modify. We're going to change this image out. We're going to choose a different one. We're going to make it one that's in studio. Make it where it's them all together. There we go. It's going to look good. They're there. So now when we go to look at that email, since we made it copy, it's got the same color choices and things in there, and you can see right away, there it is. Again, maybe you want to modify the button color. You could do any of that you want to. I want to make it black, so it just pops out a little bit more. So go click on here. Going to make this button black. There it is. Save changes. All right, so then you send this email out to your email list. You're going to send it directly to them when they click on here, book today. There we go. So now they're going in there. But let's go ahead and make sure it's set up to go to the right page. Let me do that real quick. Refresh. There it is. We want it to go to our landing page for this one. So click over here. Change the button at the bottom where it links to. Paste. There we go. It's in there now. So when we go back, when we click on it, hit refresh, make sure everything is good. Click on our button. It's going to send us over to that mini session that we want now. And again, if you have information, what the process is like, you can make this a full splash landing page style, whatever information you want on there. Then when they're ready, they can click schedule, and they're ready to book. So when we're doing this, we're booking. They can go right in here. Instead of it saying book right away, it's going to say add to cart. So now we're adding it to cart. It's going to send it over here, and then they'll go through a secure checkout option. When they're going through that secure checkout, they'll start putting out their details, information, where they're from, etc. All this will be put in here. And then when it's ready, you'll hit continue, and then whatever payment options available, so if it's Square or something like that, it'll take you through that merchant's gateway. PayPal does a gateway that's off-site, so everything's finished through them, whereas all the other ones are directly in this section right here. So you don't have to worry about it. But all the payments will directly deposit right away into whatever merchant that you select. So you don't have to worry about where the payment's going. It's going to go directly into that payment right away. But there you go. That's how that'll be, and then it'll be booked on that end. Once it's booked, again, it'll show up over here in the scheduler. Again, you can have it where it'll go directly to their calendar, and your calendar, if you set up the calendar feed to feed directly to yours. Remember, use this link. Put it in your which preferred calendar type. Again, if you select Google or Apple, let's take a look at Apple's. Apple's is even easier. Just go up to the copy this code in the back end of your thing, hit new calendar subscription, paste the link in, and it'll automatically populate right away. So you're good and gold after that. All of them are really that simple. So you don't have to worry too much. And then you'll go over to your appointments for the month. You'll be able to see who's booked, and then you'll be able to see the details. Now, if they had a payment in here, you can see the total prices in there. They booked at that time. Boom, we got it. It's already been paid for. And again, it'll show up also if the payment's gone through. We haven't finished the payments, but if they did make a payment, it'll also show up in your tracking section for the e-commerce. So this will also start populating here with a graph of information on how many purchases have been made that month or that time frame. So if we were going to finish the payment option, it would be right then and there, and then that section would be booked. And then it would show up on your calendar, their calendars, and they would start getting those emails that reminds them about it. So that's how this is set up. You know, now you're ready to market it. Now there's two ways. You could send it directly to that page, or if you want to, you can utilize these as landing pages as well that you could share directly on your social media channels as well. So you can make the emails do a little bit more lifting. And how you do that? Simple enough. You select which one that you have, and then if you click here on share, there's your code right away, or you could click here to share it to which destination you want it to. And there you go. Now you can start sharing it on Facebook. So if I wanted to, if everyone could jump right on in on this one, I'm just going to paste it over here in there. So you can see what it's like. And there it is in the comment section. That link, that's going to populate in there, and they can then go directly to that session type. And it's right there. They'll be able to click on it, and it'll populate directly over here. Fast and easy. Super simple. And that's how you get those mini sessions booked. You can start counting, saving lots of time this way. What we did was we created a landing pages. We created 2 distinct types. One where they could choose which option they wanted. Let's go and take a look again at the types of pages that we created. So we have a Mother's Day sessions. If you're going to have different sessions throughout the year, you can have different ones. Outdoor mini sessions, Mother's Day mini sessions. You can have all your ones for summer set up here. So if you're doing all the catalog for the rest of the year for a landing page, you can have all your mini session types available here so people can get really excited about types of sessions they want to pre-plan for. So maybe you're booking into October or something like that. You can have these already here for people to book with. But you can have it where it goes directly to a single page, much like this Mother's Day one right here. So if you're doing a single page option, you can have it where it's set up right here. Again, just make it where the information is stylized and saying what you need it to. And then they can start booking, and immediately it's going to look great on the phone as well. So that's a big piece of it as well. We're all very mobile these days. Again, I'll show off what the mobile option will look like. Looking at our tools, and boom, right away, you can see the types of sessions that they're getting available. They can select which one, they click the schedule, they see what dates are, and then if they want to choose a different day, they can choose that option and go right then and there and start making those payments right away. And they can add it to the cart, or you can take that booking directly right then and there. And then it's just setting it up after that. After the session, the proofing. After that, any other options, it's all right there. All seamless, all directly from your PhotoBiz account. Again, let's see what that video playback is like so you can see what the total experience should feel like for you. Right, so that's what the experience is like. Do you have any other questions that I can fill out during this time? Please let me know. I'd love to be able to help you. Close out some of these tabs that we got. Is the email automation only connected to the scheduler? No, email automation is connected to these 3 items currently. So you can see here when you click on the marketing section, when you click on email automation, currently it's connected to proofing, scheduler, and invoicing. So if you're doing anything with invoicing, you can send out a series from there. If you're doing anything with the scheduler, you can set it up here as well. And what's really nice about it is you can program these types of functionalities when you're looking at the email automations. Let me pull up how you can utilize those options. So if you're thinking, how you can utilize it, let me go through here, see if it's here. Forgot to click on guides. There we go. So you can see all the options that you have if you're collecting anything like that. If you're going through here, you can select all those types of options here. So we're going to go ahead and look at our blog. And let's look at the types of automations you can create. So you can create chains that are really nice. So for proofing, again, you can create a sample email that has a welcome. You can encourage your client to select their favorites. The third email can then After an item has been added to the cart, can send an email with a promotional code with information about products and things like that. That's what you're going to see in there. Don't miss the chance to order. You can add that as well. And then you can modify the general message type trigger, which can do lots of things. So you can have a chain for your proofing to be like this. So it's email one, if no purchase, there's another email. If no purchase, there's another email. But then after the final purchase, you can create an email that triggers either something about thank you for that purchase, hey, leave me a review, hey, refer us, or anything about anniversaries. So you can do that as well. So if you're creating any types of chains like that, same thing for the scheduler. So once they check in, the option to rebook in the future, leaving you a survey, you can create something, an information about the appointment itself, reviews, follow-ups, and coupons. So if you want to know more how you can utilize email automation, I'm going to leave a link here as well so you can see that. But yes, email automation works with those 3 tools right now. Let's see what other questions we got. Any ballpark ideas when lab integration may be available? Brent, I don't have anything confirmed at this moment. I know it's in talks, but I don't know anything yet where that lies. But as soon as we know anything, we'll let our customers know. And is there a way to customize or add forms, contracts to booking confirmations? I created a hyperlink, but I haven't tested it yet. So yes, so there's ways you could do that. So maybe you want this to be a form at the end as well. So if you're doing the old school way of it, you could always create a mini session through your forms if you prefer it that way. But the new functionality makes it so much more expedited. You don't have to worry about it. It's more attractive this way. But if you want to, there's an old type you can go through here, mini session bookings. You can set it up this way if you like, or it's more triggered out per which time's available, and etc. And these will whittle down as there's no availability. It'll say 0 or at that time slot. This is a little bit more, a cumbersome style. This is the more traditional style, but the newer version is going to make it much more expedited once you create it. But after that, say you want to create like a release. So, we can have an event contract or something like that. Let's create that event contract. We'll just say mini session event. If you want to be able to say like, hey, I want to be able to use your images for X, Y, Z. Here's what you're getting when you sign up. You can have this all directly in there. You're welcome, Michelle. You can have this all directly in here. You don't have to take the booking fee. You remove that since they've already booked. But the most important part is that signature. So you can get that there right then and there. So there's multiple ways. You could go ahead and have them book, then pay, or have them pay, then do the signature. So have this event. It's already set up. We're going to remove some details because we already know the time slot that you chose, everything else. We just want to make sure that we get this contract signed, right? So that's all we really care about. And then you can also do some other things. You can add a tag here. So we know this is for the Mother's Day Mini 2023. This is going to be great for remarketing later down the line. So you can save that directly here. So they're in there. We're going to go ahead and keep it this way. And we're just going to keep this simple. We're just going to see what it looks like. So there we go. We're getting their information. And then they can put their signature directly in there. Boom. We got that. It's going to send off to them. We have it now. We're all good. So all that is there. So now, what if we want to use this at the end? So we're going to copy this as our link. We're going to go over to that scheduled event, which event that we want it to be a part of, which service. We'll collect which service it is, the Mother's Day session. Again, they'll get that thank you email. You can add that directly here. Please fill out this, this contract. You can have it directly here. Or you can have the link, you can create a link for it. Click here. So you can have it where it's like that. So you can make it where it's right in here where they can go ahead and fill it out right away. Or you can also add it in the automated section as well. So let's go ahead and add the link in. I'm going to go ahead, paste it in. So there we go. So now they get that. So once they get that confirmation, it'll be a part of it. Or you can set it up part of the email automation as well. When you put it in the email automation section, you'll go here. Again, we created that Mother's Day session. We can then, in the appointment reminder, we can create a new email if we want to. We can create one that's a general message. We'll create it to before, before the appointment. We'll have the trigger date, the trigger, 1 week before or 2 weeks, before the event itself. And then you can customize what you want it to say by just adding the content. sign, thank you for booking. Please sign this contract, or something like that. And then you can add your message here, what the custom button is, and then the button URL. You can have that there, and then say changes. Now, when they click on it, this will trigger over where you want it to go. This will go to that that thing, and it goes directly to that customer, and then it'll fill out that mini session. And what's nice about it is it goes to that submission right then and there. It's a contract. There you go. And then on the back end, it'll be tracked here on the back end as well. So you can see form submissions. So there you got your form submission from that customer. And again, if you need a document view, you can click here and see what it looks like anytime you want to. And it's also stored in the back end of the CRM. When it's stored in the back here of the CRM, you'll see it here in the submission area. You can see that they have it directly here, so you can always go back to it anytime. Again, you can look at it at that view. And once you have that form directly in there, it's tagged. If that tagged form is there, you'll also be able to tag that customer, which is going to be great for follow-up emails down the line when you do other campaigns. Maybe you're going to do fall sessions. That's what it is. So that fall session option is going to be great because then you can send them an email campaign for fall minis or something like that. And what's nice is you can click here, go to send. Then you can select the tag you want to send it to. So anyone that's signed up for your Mother's Day and they signed that contract, you'll have 20, 30, 40 plus people there that you can remarket to your next event versus everyone in there. Yes, so you can do it multiple ways. So it's really nice. So once they have it in the thank you, if they don't see it there, at least you're getting it in an email automation as well, just in case they haven't done it yet.